Chuck, and I appreciate you stopping by the shop for another video. Videos for your entertainment, and it's going to be another shop happenings, this and that, maybe part 2. Most of it's a follow-up of what I showed the last time, and some modification and some finish on some projects. So let's jump right into it, and we'll review some of the happenings here in the shop. Well, if you recall, the last shop happenings, I showed making Solid Rock Machine Shop's chamfering tool, and I had it set up on a pallet in the mill, and I explained my problem that I created using a ER32 collet and not noticing that the collet nut was larger than the collet block itself. Well, subsequent to that, I went ahead and finished the tool, and here it is here. It turned out just fantastic. I'm really happy with it, and I'm not gonna go through the setup to show you in use. If you watched Steve Barton's video on it, it chamfers like a dog, just beautiful, and can drill holes too. So that was a real fun build, and I'm real happy with how it turned out. So if we want to move on with Steve Barton and another item that he showed, let me grab the paperwork, hang on. Okay, I don't know where I clicked on the camera there, so we'll just pick it up from here. So here's another drawing from Solid Rock. Now, these, he hasn't done a video on these. The other day he was, I think it was on Instagram, he was showing something, and these designs were in the background. And so I asked Steve if he would send me a copy of the drawing, which he did, and I made these. What are they for? They're for when you're using a pallet for blocking in on a pallet or a cube on your part. So basically, you know, there's your pallet with all your holes in it, and now you have the ability to bolt down through the various methods there to various holes. So I saw it on his channel. I thought they were really unique, so I made a pair of each of them. The second set, I decided to cold blue them, just for the shits and giggles of it. But fun project, and let's move over to the mill, and we'll talk about the setup for a second. Well, as you can see, I have not cleaned up my vise or my mill from working on these parts, but I thought I'd just give a quick discussion. So, as you can see, there's a card here. Originally had it written on the vise, and the oil started getting to it. But using the DRO, it was relatively simple to set the far side of each slot. 260 on that side, 743 on this side. So basically just went in, punched holes all the way down, and there was all my settings, every ½ inch basically, and went down, punched all the holes, came across, punched all the holes, and then with a 1/4 inch 4-flute end mill, just dropped down in the hole and then peck my way across. Once I got to the other side, just clean it back up coming across. Went really relatively simple. Having all the settings in the DRO there, just cranking and drilling, went pretty quick. Had music on in the background, and it was an enjoyable build, and I'm real happy on how they turned out. So while we're here at the mill, I think I'd showed this in the past, that my vacuum is over here. And I have it on a foot switch. Well, if you paid attention in the past, the vacuum was that guy over there, and this one here. Perusing Craigslist the other day, and I saw it for $10. And it looked like it was brand new, which it basically was. And so I went over and picked it up. The nice thing about this one is that the hose is very flexible and works really well for cleaning up and vacuuming here as I was working at the machine. So a little $10 vacuum is a good buy, and I'm glad I got it, and it tucks away nice in there. So that's the shop happenings here at the mill, and we're going to move on. I thought I'd throw a quick tip in here. So over here it's a Heinrich quick acting vise where you can lock it down real quick. Really enjoy it. Got it pegged down. Got this guy over here so it's got a dead stop. It's not going to come swinging around. But the thing I wanted to show was a couple of things actually. One, I have a little selection of wood blocks here, and basically wood parallels. Same height as the vise jaw, and these work out well when I do need to support something in the vise here, and I really don't care if I happen to drill into the wood parallels. So something to do, keep a little handy selection of wood parallels over by your drill vise. Comes in real handy. The second thing I wanted to show you, and I think Mr. Pete was the one that turned me onto this one. Most drill presses, right? You set a height, and geez, I go all the way down here to drill, right? And then I let go, it goes all the way back up, and now I got to move. I got to move the part, and now I got to go crank all the way back down. Well, this was the little trick item from I think it was Mr. Pete. You basically quill stop off a Bridgeport type mill, change the threads so it matches your drill press thread, and now, pardon the movement here, but now you can set it on the opposite side. So geez, I come down and I drill, only goes back that far. I'm not going all the way through the run of the spring return. So real handy little tip and trick to add to your drill press setup here. One, the stop, and secondly, the wood parallels. All right, let's move on to some more. Yep, there's my buddy Howie. He's checking out what's going on outside there. So let's move over to the D-bit grinder that I picked up the other day, and I showed it in my last video. Now, pull it out on this table here. So a couple things. This table, it's in a past video. It's a lift table, lift 1,000 pounds, hydraulic. Nice table. I was using it for an auxiliary table off my welding table. If I was going to put something long, I can jack it up to the correct height. I also used it as a little interim TIG table where I could just, if I had stuff on the bench, I could use it for that. I was kind of thinking about selling it, and my good buddy Flea Market Dave talked me out of it, and I'm glad he did. It works out perfect as a table for the D-bit grinder right now. And if you notice, there's a vacuum underneath the table there. Well, there's another $10 vacuum I picked up, oh boy, 5 years ago or something, garage sale, and just went by and looked at it. Small little guy. Well, I kicked the caster setup off of it, and it fits just underneath the table. Perfect. Of course, I can raise the table a little taller. So I got a vacuum now at the D-bit grinder, and I said, how am I going to hold it there? Well, right now, this is just a quick mock-up that I did, but you can see this was the stem for the light. This light is over here on a mag base, a different light, much more powerful. Well, the light that came with the unit was terrible. And so the flexible line that was for the light is very stiff. It's very good. And so I can basically move it wherever I need to. So it's going to work out really good. This was just a first mock-up of using that to hold the hose, and I was fooling around. Going to work on making an attachment for it. But worked out a nice setting. So when I sit here, all I got to do is reach down right here and turn the vacuum on. It's right there, right next to the grinder. So nice addition to the machine, and I'm really happy with it. The only other thing that I did is I got rid of the thumb screws that were here, and I changed them out to the shear lock is the name of the product, to make your own thumb screws, and ended up putting brass tips on the end of them. The stock units didn't have brass tips, and they're rubbing on the shaft, steel on steel. So replaced both of those. Again, I'm still a rookie at using this machine, but really happy that I have it in the shop. All right, let's move on here. Okay, we're over here at the surface grinder, and one of my friends calls this the Milkshake Machine. But I thought just a little quick update on it. Two things. Originally, I put it together with this plastic line, which is just very, very rigid. So I was having a problem as the table traversed, that this guy was just moving this bottle around, doing everything. Wasn't working. You can see I ended up putting a bungee cord on it just to stiffen it up because that tubing was moving it. Well, the other day my friend Dean Crawford, the RE Cave YouTube channel, he needed a couple items ground, and so he came over, and matter of fact, I'll show you the one item I ground that he left. But he got some fun. He got to run the machine, and I was mentioning how it was such a problem with that tubing, and he goes, "Oh, you just got to get some surgical hose." And so that's what I did. Ordered some surgical hose off of Amazon, and this is just like a rubber band. It's working perfect. The next thing is I talked about is I ordered a 5 micron filter, and you can see it dripping there since I moved the hose. There's fluid in it, and I think it was Steve Barton mentioned that 5 micron might just be too small of a filter. And you can see how black the bag is already on the bottom there. And I haven't done that much grinding already. But another viewer, Art, I can't think of his last name. He just got a CNC mill. But Art mentioned, hey, put a coffee filter in. They're 25 micron. And so what I did is I basically opened this guy up and put a coffee filter ahead of the 5 micron filter. And it's been working well so far. Hasn't plugged up. I'm going to end up, I'm not going to do it today, but I'll take it apart and see where we're at on its filtering. But all in all, the flood coolant system is working great, and I really enjoy grinding with it compared to using the cool mist, spray mist that I was using prior. So my milkshake container is working great right now. Oh, this was the, of course, it comes from over at the mainland China. Immediately broke the lever that turns off and on the spigot in the back. So it runs all the time now. I don't know if it won't shut off, but that's fine. Let's go over and I'll show you the part that I ground for Dean. So we'll just go handheld on this, and here's a couple of photos. You can see I marked it up prior to grinding, and basically there was about 3.5 thou difference between this side and this side on the unit, and so I set it up to grind that direction towards it, started cutting, and it turned out really nice. I'm really happy. I don't know if it'll show up on camera here, but that is the original 0 finish on that side. It's there because I didn't see it because of the coolant, to be honest with you guys. But you can see I'm 0, 0 across, and minus 5/10 here, and plus 2/10 at the other side. Right here is 1/10, 2/10. Came out really quick for a quick grind on it, and it's a fairly good plate. It's 7 inches by 6 inches. So it'll be a nice tooling plate for Dean in his shop, and it was a fun little grind. Well, I said I wasn't going to show you the Steve Martin's Tampering tool, but what the heck, got to show it to you. So I got a piece of steel in there. We're at 660 RPM. And just a beauty. Cuts like butter. It's really a nice tool. I'm really glad that I made it. It was a lot of fun building it, and that's in steel, and there's one in aluminum that was off-centered in the hole, but you can see the finish in aluminum. Another sample. So a real nice tool, and you can also chamfer edges with it also if you wanted to. Okay, hey, thanks for hang on there. Okay, guys, the phone rang there, so I kind of got lost here. I think I was closing out the video. As always, I appreciate your time stopping by. I hope you've had this video as entertainment, and maybe a couple of little tips. And stop by Solid Rock Machine Shop on YouTube. I know you must watch him. He's he'd been ill for about a year, and he's going to start putting videos back out again. Great instructor. And then stop by the RE Cave Shop, Dean Crawford. He's working on is it a shaper right now? He's putting out some good videos, enjoyable. So stop over and see my buddy Dean. Take care, and we'll catch you soon.